Greetings to you and welcome to this episode of Grace Podcast. I'm Timothy Muse. I'll be your host as we spend this time together today. It's a joy to be with you. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for making this podcast a part of your journey. And yes, I want to thank you for being on the journey. I want to thank you for pushing yourself, for moving forward, for digging deeper, for finding those places that need some extra energy and the willingness to do it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this movement, part of this idea that we want to be better. You know, we as humans, we are expected to be better. That's part of the joy of being human. We don't have to stay where we are. We can find those places that need energy. We can find those places that need a little extra investment, and we can engage them. And here you are doing that. So thank you for that. If this podcast is helpful, please share it out there. Put it out there on your social media feeds. I post on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and Facebook. If you follow me or the life coaching on any one of those feeds, you're going to see these episodes. So share them out there. Tag me in it. Love to see where you are. If you're on one of the listening platforms, by iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or Spotify, please follow us, give us a rating and review. Every positive rating and review tells the platform people are listening. And you get notifications when a new episode comes out. And if you want to reach out to me directly, GraceLifeCoaching.com. That's the website. I truly would love to hear from you. GraceLifeCoaching.com is where you can get a hold of me. It's got all my contact information. If you want to do some coaching, if you want to do some Reiki, some sound baths, some meditation, those are some of the things that I offer. So I would love to hear from you. GraceLifeCoaching.com. So welcome back into this series on the power of friendship and the importance of friendship and what friendships can do. You know, over the past few episodes, we've talked about why friendships matter, how to recognize true friends, how to become a better friend. The importance of vulnerability is where we went last episode. So today I want to talk about something that reveals the true strength of a friendship. We're talking about friendship during a hard season of life, because it's easy to be present in someone's life when everything is going well. It really is. It's easy to be alongside someone when things are going well. You know, when celebrations are easy, when success is easy, when good news is easy, all those wonderful things. And look, they're great. I love being alongside my friends when they are experiencing success and celebration and good news. I love to embrace people when they've got something special and incredible going on. But real friendship reveals itself when life becomes difficult. When someone experiences loss, when they feel overwhelmed, when circumstances become uncertain, those are the moments when the presence of a good friend can make all the difference. Those are the moments in life when a good friend really, truly matters. One of the most important realities in life is this: everyone experiences difficult seasons. I would love to say that, you know, you on this journey and you won't have any more difficulty and everything will be great. I'd love to say that, but I'm not going to, because it's not true. It doesn't matter how much work you do or how much you're looking to invest in yourself, which is really, really awesome. Difficult seasons will arrive. Difficult seasons will arrive. No one moves through life without facing hardship. And sometimes those seasons arrive suddenly. Most of the time they arrive suddenly. That health diagnosis, you know, yesterday I was feeling great and today now I have chest pains and I'm on my way into open heart surgery. Or everything felt fine and then I got that diagnosis with that big ugly C word. Or I woke up this morning and I couldn't breathe real well. You know, our health changes. And because most of our body doesn't have nerve receptors, we have to look for secondary symptomology. So that secondary symptomology finally shows that something's going on, but it's been going on for a while. So it can arrive suddenly. The loss of a job. You know, people lose their jobs. Their employment comes to an end. Sometimes you can see it out on the horizon, but most of the time you go into work and you get a pink slip. I don't know if they give pink slips anymore, but they used to. You go into work and you lose your job. Unexpected financial stress. Everything's going great until the boiler breaks or until there's a car accident. Those things happen. A broken relationship. People fall apart. You know, people drift away. Those things can come along suddenly. They can hit us overnight. Other times, a difficult season unfolds slowly. Burnout. Burnout is a difficult season. You know, if you're highly invested in your career and your family, you can get burned out pretty quickly. But that happens over time. We often are well past burnout before we embrace being burned out. Loneliness. Chronic stress, emotional exhaustion. During these moments, people often feel overwhelmed and uncertain. Everything that they knew is starting to crumble down. And they may struggle to find clarity. They may find struggle to find a path or, a deeper direction. Or they just may feel alone. We live in such a shame culture. It's no problem to put out there when everything's going well. But when something starts to struggle, we want to close in. We want to hide ourselves. And that can be a very lonely feeling. And this is where friendship becomes incredibly important. Because during difficult seasons of life, people just don't need solutions. Solutions are out there all over the place. People need support. They need presence. They need reminded that they're not alone. When we're in a difficult season in life, it's really easy. If I have a difficult season and I'm struggling with something, I can go online. I can find an answer. I can create a path. Paths are pretty easy to come alongside, but it's the support. It's the presence. And it's the reminder that we're not alone. Remember I said before, when things get really, really bad, people tend to isolate. That is our human response. We live in such a shame culture that when things are going great, put it out there. But when things are not going great, that's when things go quiet. It's in that moment that a true friend needs to step up. It's in that moment that a true friend can come alongside in a difficult season. Now, this is one of the struggles. This is one of the difficult things. I'm trained in how to deal in crisis. I'm trained in how to deal in trauma to some degree. I'm trained in how to dwell with people at their worst. I've done that training. Not everybody has that training. Not everybody has that experience. So many people worry that when one of their friends goes into a season of difficulty, they worry about what to say. I don't know what to say when a friend is in a struggling moment. I don't know what to say. They worry about saying the wrong thing. They worry about not having the right advice. You've probably been there. You probably know somebody who's in a difficult season or who was in a difficult season, and you wanted to reach out. You wanted to engage, but you just didn't know what to say. And you were afraid if you said the wrong thing that it would make it worse, which it could. It could. So the fear is legitimate, but here's the truth. In difficult seasons, people rarely need perfect words. It's not about what to say. What most people need in difficult seasons is presence. They need somebody with them. They need somebody to remind them that they're not in this alone, that what's going on right now is not the end of their being. So here's the thing, when you're a friend and one of your friends is in a difficult moment, remember, showing up matters. Just being there. Whether it is to dwell in the struggle or maybe even it's just to remove from the struggle. It's like, look, you've been marinating in this soup of stress for days. Here's a cup of coffee. Let's talk about the trees or the flowers. Showing up matters. Having a friend sit down beside you matters. Listening matters. Just listening. Don't have to say a word. Just listening. Being available matters. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone who's struggling is simply to look at them and say, I'm here. Not every situation needs an immediate fix. Some solutions simply need to be shared. Some situations simply need to be shared. Some solutions need to be shared too, but some situations just simply need to be shared. When someone knows that they're not facing their hardship alone, the emotional burden becomes a little bit lighter. Friendship doesn't remove pain. That's not the point of a friendship, is to remove pain. But it makes pain easier to carry. It makes facing those circumstances and those situations easier to confront. So let me give you 3 different ways that you can support a friend and a friend can support you in a difficult season. The first one is the listener. Sometimes the most important role a friend plays is simply listening. When someone is going through a difficult time, they often need space to express what they're feeling, just to get it out, just to vomit it out of them, okay? They need to talk through their worries. They may need to share fears that they're holding inside. These things just need to come out. Now, and this isn't the place where things get fixed. This isn't the place where advice is given. This is a place of purging. When we experience difficult seasons, we have a bunch of different things going inside of us. Bunch of different emotions, bunch of different fears, bunch of different possibilities and lost dreams and broken hope. A bunch of stuff's going on inside of us at the same time. Sometimes we just need people to listen. One of the things that I do often when I'm with people is just listen. Listen to what they say. Listen to what's going on inside of them. Let them talk. So a good listener doesn't interrupt. A good listener just lets the words come out. Just lets the thoughts and the emotions and the feelings come out. Maybe a pointed question from time to time just to make sure that there's understanding, or if there's something that's said that isn't understood, that's a good time to stop and ask a question. But a good listener doesn't interrupt. Just let things come out to the best of the possibility. A good listener doesn't rush to provide answers. Again, most of the time, people aren't necessarily looking for answers, particularly when the hard season starts, when something happens. A good listener is just there to listen, not to rush to provide answers. They simply create space for the other person to speak honestly, to get it out. No judgment, no critique, just to honestly get out what's going on inside of them. Listening communicates care. Listening says, you know what, I care about you, and I'm here, and I'm listening to what you have to say. And it communicates respect. It says, you know what, you matter. Yes, this is a difficult circumstance. Yes, this is terrible, but you matter. And you're not defined by your circumstance. You're defined by you. So a good friend in a difficult season for someone else is a good listener. To just listen, to just hear what's going on inside of them, to let them express. The second one is the encourager. Difficult seasons often cloud a person's perspective. We can so quickly go from I'm in this situation to I am this. You understand the difference? You know, the difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is I did something wrong and I feel bad about it. Shame is I'm bad. Okay? So difficult seasons often cloud a person's perspective. I'm a bad person. No, you're just in a bad moment. So when someone is overwhelmed, they may begin to doubt themselves, question themselves. You know, they may question their abilities or feel discouraged. Again, and this is not necessarily about the situation. This is about the person. An encourager is there to provide encouragement. Not empty optimism, but grounded encouragement. Yes, this is a terrible moment. This is a terrible season that you're in, but that doesn't make you a terrible person. You didn't change your identity. This is a situation, a circumstance, but it's not fully you. The encourager reminds someone of their strengths. The encourager reminds them of past victories. Again, when we hit hard seasons, we can so quickly forget that maybe we've been here before and we got through it. We can so quickly forget our past victories. I never get it right. Well, never's a big word. Let's look at that, because I remember you got this right and this right and this right and this right. Maybe you didn't get this piece right, but that doesn't mean you don't get anything right. Okay, the encourager grounds with encouragement and lifting up. It reminds your friend that difficult seasons don't last forever, and they don't. No season lasts forever. We just got out of a time of wintering, preparing for spring. Well, spring is finally starting to arrive. I'm looking out my window. I'm seeing buds on the tree. I'm seeing daffodils and crocuses starting to push up from the ground. No season lasts forever. Not the good seasons and not the difficult seasons. And an encourager reminds people that the difficult seasons don't last forever. Encouragement restores hope when someone's vision has become blurred by stress or burnout or overwhelmed or loneliness. Encouragement restores hope. And hope is a powerful tool in dealing with difficult seasons. Hope is a powerful tool to keep people looking towards the possibility and not just dwelling in the difficulty of the moment. So that's the encourager. The third one is the supporter. Sometimes friends can offer practical help, not advice, but help. Sometimes people just need helping with daily tasks. You know, when we hit difficult seasons, particularly if it's a health crisis that brings someone into a place of immobility or laid out for a long period of time, the supporter can help with daily tasks, offer assistance during stressful situations. Maybe that's making some food, or maybe that's, helping to clean the house or cut the grass or rake the leaves or whatever, go grocery shopping. Offering assistance during stressful situations. Maybe that's, checking in regularly. Hey, I can't be here every day with you, but I'm going to contact you every day. I'm going to ask you every day, how are you doing? And I'd like you to be honest with me. It's okay if you're not doing good. You don't have to sugarcoat it for me. I'm just checking in to see how you're doing. Sending a message that simply says, I'm thinking about you. You're on my mind. You matter to me. Remember I said at the very beginning, I'm here. You matter. You matter to me. These small actions communicate something powerful. They communicate care. They communicate that I'm here. Maybe I can't sit beside your bed 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and that's not usually possible. However, I'm here. I'm part of this. I'm part of this journey with you. You have to do the work. You have to go through it, but you don't have to go through it alone. That communication of care, that someone is paying attention, that someone is seeing, it's so powerful. Now, here's the thing. I do want to say that, there are some things not to do during difficult seasons. There's things not to do during hard seasons. While most people want to help their friends during difficult seasons, there's a few common mistakes that people make. One is trying to fix everything immediately. Like, let's just get this done. Let's get this done. I remember some years ago when I was doing my training, there was a moment where I was in a group process and one of the group members misunderstood something, and they were, and it didn't work out the way it was supposed to. Okay. Well, my immediate response was, let's just reschedule. Let's just do this. Let's fix it. I very much am a fixer, and I work very hard not to just employ that right away. One mistake of dealing with people in hard seasons is trying to fix everything immediately. Not every situation can be solved quickly. Not every situation can be solved completely. Another mistake is trying to push it, trying to just say we're going to do this. We don't want to go down that road. Dwell. A good friend will just dwell with people. The other thing that can happen is minimizing someone's feelings. I'm sure you've all heard this, or maybe you've said it. What happens is we get uncomfortable. We get uncomfortable with where our friend is at, and we want to bring them into a place of balance. So we may say something like, it could be worse. I mean, it really could be worse. Or you'll get over it. Yeah, you'll get over it. Now, and both of those statements are true. Okay, both of those statements are true. No matter what the circumstance, it probably could be worse. And ultimately, they'll get over it. We all get over it, or at least we learn to live with it. Even if we don't get over it, we learn to live with it. But that's not something to be discussing, particularly in the midst of a hard season. It unintentionally dismisses the emotional weight someone is carrying. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. It could be worse. I see you're struggling, but stop struggling. No. What can happen is we can minimize where they're at. We can minimize the weight of their pain. We can minimize the weight of their struggle or their fear or their concern. And we don't want to do that. A good friend doesn't want to do that. A good friend wants to dwell with their friend in their pain, but not try to minimize it, not try to get rid of it real quick like. Instead of minimizing, focus on listening and understanding. Empathy strengthens friendships far more than quick solutions. So a couple things not to do if you're dealing with or walking with a friend in a hard season. Don't try to solve it too quickly. Okay? Don't try to solve it too quickly. Don't try to fix everything immediately. That's not necessarily what they're looking for or necessarily what they need. They need a friend to dwell with them. And try not to minimize their pain or their emotions by saying things like it could be worse or you'll get over it. Here's a good rule of thumb. That I will tell you is that if you're in a moment and you're working with someone or you're walking with someone, you're friends with someone and they're really in a hard moment and you don't know what to say, don't say anything. Or if you need to say something, say, I'm here. I'm listening. Or you can even ask them, what can I do for you? I'm your friend. What can I do for you? Maybe they already know. Maybe they have a list of needs that they're waiting to share until they're given permission to. But if you're finding it's hard to say something, you don't know what to say, don't say anything. Or just tell them I'm here. I'll support you any way that I can. What can I do for you? How can I help you? That's the thing. That's how we dwell in those circumstances. Because let me tell you, one of the surprising things about hardship is it can often strengthen friendships. When people walk through difficult seasons together, they build a deeper trust. They see each other's resilience. They experience loyalty. And those shared experiences create strong relational bonds. Some of the deepest friendships are formed during moments when people support one another through difficult circumstances. Hard seasons reveal who truly stands beside us and who we truly stand beside. And those friendships often become the most meaningful friendships in our lives. So take a moment to reflect on a few questions here. Who showed up for you during one of the most difficult seasons in your life? Who was there? Who came and stood beside you? What did their presence mean to you? And is there someone in your life right now that may need the same support from you? These questions remind us how powerful friendships can be during challenging times. So I would encourage you to dwell on them. And I would encourage you, if there's someone in your life that you know is going on through a difficult season right now, reach out to them. Send a message, make a call, ask how they're doing. Remember, just listen. Listen to where they are. Sometimes the most meaningful support begins with a simple question like, how are you doing? How are you doing today? How are you really doing today? I think that's a great question. How are you doing? I'm great. Yeah. How are you really doing? Remember, difficult seasons are part of the human journey, but those seasons become easier when we walk through them together. True friends, they listen, they encourage, they show up, and in doing so, they remind each other that we are never completely alone. That's what I got for you for today, my friends. If it is helpful, please share it out there. Put it out there on your social media feeds. Put it out there on the listening platforms. Give us a rating and review. Write some things about it. If you want to reach out directly to me, gracelifecoaching.com is the website. As always, at Grace Life Coaching, we want you to be the best you.